What made you decide to go from acting into moving into producing?
I kind of took a cue from like Madonna and people like that who sign the checks.
Wait, what?
If you become the producer, you can cast yourself.
Of course.
I could never get roles. I was like, okay, I'll become a producer so then I can be the director or the actor whenever I want. 2 questions. Did you want to start off doing movie makeup or just makeup and then moved into movie makeup?
I've always wanted to do movie makeup. Since I was like a kid, I watched Monsters as a kid.
Same page. Okay, no, that's cool. Just like you weren't expecting me to say Madonna was my inspiration. We were not expecting you to be like Monster.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Be Frank Podcast. Today we're doing a special thing, the co-host with Toni Marlo.
Hello.
And then myself, and then we have a special guest. He's everything. Like, explain who he is.
Everything that Adam Ropp does. I met Adam as an actor, and then he became a wedding photographer, then producer. Those goes at the same time. Then a producer in commercial world. Then it moved into train depot owner / wedding venue. Did I say that right?
Sure. And then,
yeah, sure. Then film producer again.
Yeah.
And then city councilman.
Yeah, we're gonna cover a lot of stuff, those kind of stuff. In profession, we talk about money, we talk about mental health, and we talk about job description. I think everybody should listen to it. We had a great conversation. Yeah. So let's get started.
What made you decide to go from acting into moving into producing? Because you had a little run there when you were doing movies.
Because I couldn't. I kind of took a cue from like Madonna and people like that who sign the checks.
Wait, what? Listen, I aspire.
Like, we are supposed to know.
I wanted to be Madonna. Listen, Madonna inspired me, and I was like, when I saw True Blue and all that, and like a virgin, I was just like, I want to be that. No, she signs the checks. So the reason why she can keep starring in whatever she wants is because she's the producer of her own stuff.
She literally pays to play.
Yeah. So if you become the producer, you can cast yourself.
Of course.
I could never get roles. Of course, there's not any roles around here. It's a whole other thing. But I was like, okay, I'll become a producer so then I can be the director or the actor whenever I want. It was an angle to come around. It was an angle to come around. Or if you want to act, you just cast yourself. Because it seemed easier in becoming a producer and succeeding in that route than just auditioning and being an actor. So I thought, okay, I'll write and direct and produce my own stuff, and then I can just cast myself in it.
So what moment that did you have that epiphany? Like, you're like auditioning, they're like, no, or whatever. Like, you're like, fuck it, let's do it. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know if there wasn't like a one specific moment. I just kind of came into that. I just kind of thought of it. I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And then just kind of stuck with that. And then kind of lost the acting bug after 10 years anyways.
When did you start acting?
Well, you're gonna date me, I guess. So 99?
Okay.
Meaning like...
You had been acting for 12 years.
Wanting to be, right? Yeah, again, like
auditioning and...
Yeah, since I was like 15 or something.
Did it start like in the high school plays?
We didn't have that in my high school or junior high at the time. Believe it or not, Google was around, or the internet was around then.
Barely, though.
Yeah.
It was Jeeves.
It was barely. It was. Yeah, I do.
Butler?
You barely. Yeah. I looked on the internet, and there was literally theater at OU. The only thing in Oklahoma at the time was theater at OU. Yeah. Maybe a TV broadcasting thing somewhere in Tulsa, but the only movie school was in Muskogee at a place called Darkwood Film Arts Institute, which is the Bare Bones Film Festival. They were the only thing you could find.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was it. There was nothing else in this oasis. And my parents drove me there, and they kind of, that organization is really good at taking people and giving them the basics from like A to Z starting out.
It's almost like broadcasting media, right? That they teach?
No, they do movies.
They do?
Yeah, it's a couple, Oscar and Sean Ray, and they run the Bare Bones Film Festival in Muskogee, and they also did like a boot camp for like kids and people starting out in film.
Oh, and they still do this.
They still do this, but they had that back then.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And so I went to that, and they were part of instilling it in you as well, like being a producer, and that way you can cast yourself and stuff like that. They were kind of big in instilling that in me as well. And I'm glad they did. It kind of worked out.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. I always wanted to be a makeup artist. And so my mom took me to like, I think it was UCO, or is it OCU? One of them.
one of the C's.
Yeah.
It is confusing. There's OCU, UCO, there's OCCC. There's a lot of O and C's.
Yeah.
I went there and I wanted, because I guess they had a big theater program. And so that was the closest thing I knew. Mm-hmm. But I would have had to have been an acting major to then learn how to do stage makeup or something. Anyway, it was like this whole other path. And so I didn't want to be an actor. So, but I remember at the same time being a senior and having to like look around in Oklahoma and figure out where the film world was, and there wasn't one. So I just did it, and then I went to retail. So.
2 questions. Did you want to start off doing movie makeup or just makeup and then moved into movie makeup?
I always wanted to do movie makeup. Since I was like a kid, I watched Monsters as a kid.
The same face.
Okay, no, that's cool. Just like you weren't expecting me to say Madonna was my inspiration. We were not expecting you to be like Monster.
I grew up watching TV. That was kind of like, my babysitter as a kid. I'm a single mom, so she was like, turn the TV on. And I watched The Munsters, which of course was like an old black and white TV show. And Eddie Munster, the kid, had a widow's peak, like I do. And I remember always like, do you know what a
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I remember this moment that he like turned, and it was a side profile of him, and you could see where his hair was, and then you could see where it was painted. And I'm like 6 years old, and I remember being like, that's painted. That's not real. This isn't real. This is bullshit. And why I didn't think that bolts coming out of the neck was real, I have no idea. But I remember being like, that's all a trick. The whole TV thing is a trick. And then like I became obsessed with, they're tricking me. Like this is a trick.
A deep depression. This is all a lie.
And then we would watch horror films, and I would be like afraid of the horror films. And my mom would always be like, "So there's someone right off of the camera that's like making that happen." And I just remember being like blown away that there was someone like making all the blood in the Chucky movies, and they were killing them, but they weren't really dead. It was a trick, and I just became obsessed with the fact that there was someone off camera tricking them, and I just wanted to be the person that was just tricking them. Like, they're lying to me, I can do that. I can lie to them.
Wow.
I know. Anyway.
No, that's cool. Yeah. I'm glad you told us that, because I would never have thought that. I thought it would have been like, yeah, I mean, what, like
the makeup all the time?
Yeah, from some 80s teen movie or something.
Oh, okay. So I have more deeper.
That's right. I
thought it was gonna be like, well, I saw, Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Adventures in Babies, all these 80s shows or whatever. Yeah. Like, I was just like, oh, that lady's beautiful. I just thought that.
I was super feminine.
False assumption. Yeah, I didn't think it would come from a monster show.
That's why you can do the makeup like doesn't fall on the tattoo and stuff. Yeah, she just trick us. You're tricking them.
But that's what we both looked at each other when you said the Munsters. Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, it just come out that year. I'm 65.
Yeah, I was gonna say. What's weird though too is that it was black and white.
Yeah, it was black and white.
But you could still notice the hairline.
Yeah. I'll never forget that. I felt so betrayed. He betrayed me. Yes, because mine was real. My speak was natural.
Yeah, right.
Isn't it wild?
Yeah, there was a documentary I watched in college in one of the classes, and it was about, I think, Robert Evans, who produced The Godfather. Or he was like president of Paramount or something like that. And he did a documentary called The Kid Stays in the Picture. And it's about his rise into being the top producer like in the world at the time. And he started out as an actor again. Oh. And the reason why it's called The Kid Stays in the Picture is he didn't know if he was going to get to keep his role in a movie. And they're like, we'll let you know if we're going to keep you and not fire you. And the director finally said, the kid stays in the picture, meaning we're going to let you stay. But he was like, and at that moment, he goes, I'll be the one in power making that decision, not the other way. He's like, I think his quote was like, I'm not going to be the actor shitting his pants, wanting to know if he's going to stay in the role or not. I want to be the guy calling the shots. And so like, that's why it's called that. But that's why he switched over too, because you're always at the behest of wanting to get something.
That's
So he
cool.
wanted to be the one calling the shots to do it. And same thing, he was going to cast himself, but then he just didn't care to act anymore after
And
that.
did you do that too? Because were you acting in any of these movies that you were producing when you got right? Because once you got into that world producing, you were really pretty busy, right?
Yeah, and
I remember you calling me and telling me I'm producing all these Lifetime movies in Guthrie,
yeah.
one after another.
Yeah.
Lifetime movie in Guthrie.
There's
How's
so
that?
many
A lot.
movies in Guthrie.
Yeah, I did 3 and then 2 Hallmarks. And then thankfully now I kind of graduated from that. I call it graduating. You graduate from that level and kind of move on from there.
Because for people who don't know, I mean, Lifetime and Hallmark are made pretty inexpensive. They're inexpensive movies.
Yeah,
And they're made
they're
in
really
like
cheap.
12 days, and a typical movie is minimum.
So I mean,
2
like a
months and stuff
movie
like that,
producer,
yeah.
like I see it, but like it's kind of like producer's kind of weird, right? Like it's kind of like they're not the director, but they have like a money behind it. Like when people doesn't understand what producer does, how do you explain what producer does?
Yeah, I think
That kind of
Broad. It's
weird.
very broad.
Yeah, it's a
It's
lot of
very
job.
broad word.
Yeah.
yeah, it is. And there's different ones. So I'm actually teaching a producer course at
There it is.
Market.
I think Toni teaches makeup there.
Yes.
Nice.
I'm actually teaching a course on producing, like a 1-week course where I go over the different types of producers, what they do, what a producer does in general. There's something I was going to tell you. That is one thing I'm going to tell everybody in that class is that people who are producing, they're way too quick, whether they be a director or just a filmmaker in general, they're way too quick in putting themselves in key positions too early. You need to try to get a foothold on the business end first before you start putting your friends and yourself in the main position.
What do you mean by business?
So let's see. So this is at Meridian Tech. Which is a VOTech out in Guthrie, and so this is a class that people can take.
Yeah, when I teach you that, yeah.
How to be a producer, kind of understand the.
I'll just give you an example. So I do meet people who they made a feature. They got some money for it, whether it be through a series of grandma put some here in, friend put some here in, but they mustered up like $1 million.
Wow.
They never got distributed.
Pretty good job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a friend of mine. I don't mind him seeing this, but I was like, because what I'm doing now is I get distribution deals and you leverage off the deals.
Gotcha.
So they'll give you like $1.5 million of a minimum guarantee, and then you go leverage that for $1.4 million loan.
To explain that later. I don't want to go.
Yeah. I'll get that. Anyways, I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, "Yeah, that's all I'm doing now." And he goes, "Oh, I never do that. I just get money." And I was like, I don't. Well, I did finally after that, but like the last month I've done that. But I was like, I don't have rich. He goes, "Oh no, man, I just go get them. People give it to me." And I was like, huh. And I didn't like inquire there. But then later, and he was saying like my friends from school and stuff, give me money. Yeah, exactly. And I didn't inquire, but later on when we were just chit chatting about something, he had let it just come out and slip. He's like, yeah, well, when I was at Yale, I blah, blah, blah. And then I remembered him saying, I was like, oh, that is why you have your friends. Right. And I was like, your friends all have money because you guys were all Ivy League. I was like, okay, now I get what he means by like his friends from college. No friends from UCO has given me $500,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I just thought it was funny that yeah, man, it's my friends, and then like and then he's like, oh, I went to Yale, and I was like, oh,
Makes
I
sense.
can see clearly.
I think something I've noticed too is a lot of times the investors for films are people who have nothing to do with film.
Yeah.
They have jobs that you get at Yale. They're doctors, physicians, and this to them giving $15,000, even $100,000 is like a really cool thing to them because now they're officially a producer.
Yeah, I think they feel
So
like
it's
they're more creative person or something.
Yeah.
That's right. Their dream they always had the dream in the back of their mind at some point that they're an artist of some kind. This is their chance to kind of trying to get in.
You have a doctor making, 7 figures, and their friend, that's the creative guy, asks them to invest. They're all about it, and then they get to show up on set one day, and they get to bring their kids, and they get to do something special.
Look how cool the selfies. No, you are spot on. No, you are spot on. You're 100% spot on. I've seen that scenario. I've heard that scenario. That work on them. Well, but I've seen people who will muster up $1 million no distribution, doesn't go anywhere, and they never make a movie again. They're right in the same spot. And it's like, how do you not capitalize and make that a stepping stone where you're moving up? And then upon evaluating their movie, it's because they made themselves the director, they made their friends the DP who were not up to quality of like distribution quality. It's like you need to stop trying to throw Hail Marys and just get first downs. It's a American football reference.
Right.
You know, stop trying to just, I'm the director, I'm the writer, I'm the producer, my friend, my bro. Yeah, he's only done one short, but doesn't matter. He's going to be the DP, or he or she's going to be the DP, right? And it's just like, yeah, and you do not have that many chances to be in the spot where somebody who can pull you up is going to be looking at you. And you have to be ace on each spot moving forward. There will come a time where you can put yourself as the director, put your friends as the DP, but live to fight another day. Yeah.
But how do you meet those people? I mean, I think the filmmakers that you're referring to sometimes maybe they get too much money and they need to do something smaller, but a lot of them, they only know their friend that's the DP.
I think
they have to be the director and the writer and the thing because there's nobody else.
I think that if you are in a position where finally you can kind of go up to a different tier, those people are available, like the people who are professional, because everyone's there to get paid. I mean, you can find them if you're looking, but they just don't care to look because it's about their friendships and their people. And I'm not trying to say
you're working with. There's
right
stuff with $10,000 in friends, and then there's $5,000 movies that your friends from Yale gave you, and those are when you need to pay.
Right. And this leads me to a great example that I had with somebody in the room. This proves perfectly about what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I was talking with somebody at a premiere, and this guy was like, I told you this I think before, but I'll use it again. But he was like, somehow you came up. and he goes, I can get you Toni Marlo. I was like, yeah. And I said, dude, and I just wanted to be like, that is not like name dropping Toni. It's like, anybody can get Toni because if you pay her enough. No, it's true. If you pay her enough, anybody can get Toni. I said, but that's true. And anybody's like that. Like I UPM'd, right? like
unit project man.
Yeah. I've been UPM before. Yeah. And I'll do a really crappy movie if you're paying me a lot, right? At this level, right? Sure, you paying me $6,000 a week or something to UP. Shoot, yeah, let's go, kid. Like, what are we doing? Toni, you're the same way. These 5 12-year-olds could
a friend of mine or something.
Yeah, 5 12-year-olds could call Toni and they're like, oh, we're doing a movie, and she'd be like, do you know who I am? And they're like, we'll give you $1,000 cash a day. Okay, all right. We got Tree Fort or something. Like, where are we going? That's what I'm saying. Anybody can do it. So what I'm trying to say is that, right? Yeah. So what I mean is like, if these people can get big people, they just don't want to.
Wasn't that your first movie though?
What?
That long ago?
Yeah. We're talking about this happened I think recently.
Oh, got you. Okay.
When I would have, I know who you're meeting.
She already had her rise to the top.
Got you.
And that's what we were talking. We were talking about Crew or something. Yeah, and somehow we got onto Crew or some people. But she came up.
Yeah.
I can get you, Toni.
It's hard.
like you gotta go through. She has the gatekeepers to go through. You gotta fill out everything first, submit it, they'll review it, get back to you, and then go to another set of people, and then after that, and then Toni will think maybe she'll do it or not. Yeah, that's how it was. But this person could cut right to the source.
Damn.
He was going to take you across it. That's what this was like.
Yeah. And it's like you don't have her number.
Right. Or she just won't answer it. But he will make sure she answers the phone call. But all of this to say, so back to that point though, is that
I'm glad we're done with this.
Yeah. But all of this to say that you can get big people, and if not the biggest, like Toni, you can get somebody that is better equipped at giving you a better product to move higher. And it's not to be like, screw all my friends because now I'm there. And like, it's not that. It's just, you have to get rid of the mothers love their children syndrome and think that
the what?
Mothers love their children syndrome. And maybe your scripts are not the best to be using. Maybe your talents are not the best in this position. There will come a day where you can do that, but you need to try to get a foothold in the industry itself first, and then do that.
I like that. I mean, like, you have to be aware of like those people who are friends or something like that. You're working together, but if they grow with you, then you can keep them.
Right.
Like, you have to be like kind of like be like honest to yourself. Like, is this like a really good fit? And if not, just move on. Kind of deal. Yeah, makes sense to me.
I will say that is one of the reasons why I still do smaller things. Is when you grow with people, and I use Lone Grove a lot as an example. That movie went nowhere. It was really, really brutal, but it tested my limits. It tested my boundaries.
Yeah.
I realized that I could do things I didn't think I could do. That was the first time in my life that I went 2 weeks straight on 4 to 5 hours sleep every night. Didn't know that was possible for me. I thought I would have lost my mind.
Right.
Somehow managed.
Right.
And I still know a lot of the same people. And those people since then, those crew members, I've gotten jobs. Like I started working in August Osage County because of Chris Hollick.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And that was
he brought me on.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
he didn't bring me on, but keep going.
I worked in set department, so I was not a makeup artist.
Oh.
Made furniture for a month in that house. But it was.
I didn't know that.
It was a fun gig. So I mean, I definitely never try to like be too big time for certain projects. You just never know who that director's going to be and go to. Sometimes it goes nowhere, but. Whenever you meet, or like you meet the sound guy, then the sound guy turns out that he's doing something next, and he refers you, and so.
Yeah, there is the networking is very real.
Yeah, it's very real.
Especially if you have the talent to back it up. It's like, what do they say? It's like where talent and opportunity meet. There has to be both.
Oh yeah.
Because there's some people who get the opportunity, but they don't have the talent, or something to.
The personality. Really
yeah, isn't that? It's like 20 things like added together. It really is.
It's like, can you be with these people for 14 hours a day?
Yeah.
Really also, you don't even have to be that great. Just be cool, man.
So I won't tell you which movie it was, but I was doing a movie, $3 million budget, and we hired a director, and he was given an opportunity, and
friends from the hell.
Not from me. And this is my DP. DP had done one short, and we're like,
wow, $3 million movie.
And then he called me once. He goes, well, I was talking with my DP, and this is a comedy. We think we want to do this on film, and we want to shoot certain scenes black and white. We fired them both.
Damn.
Yeah, for that suggestion. Yeah. You are not the mind to be in charge of carrying this movie from A to Z with those types of thoughts.
This wasn't his movie, his funding. This was your movie, your funding.
We hired them, yeah.
You hired them.
Yeah.
And they gave a bad idea.
You are the captain of a ship to take this from A to Z. You come in here hiring people like that, suggesting people like that, you're done. So that's my point. Live to fight another day. You get the best people, stuff like that. So I'm just saying.
So like, are you like?
I'm not cool. I'm just saying. Like,
he's like, your ideas are terrible.
No, I'm just saying. Like,
I love being part of that car.
It's just like sorry. Like,
yeah, I guess like if you can explain producer, what they do is kind of like owner of the film. Then like CEO is a director, maybe. Is that how you explain
okay.
it?
So a producer, you're responsible from seeing the movie from A to Z, and you're a jack of all trades and a master of none. You have to know enough of each department and position to have proper oversight, but you're not the ones carrying it out in detail. At least you shouldn't be. I don't do that. It's real micromanaging, and I don't like it. You're there from the script process, whether it be part of the creative idea and then it's developed, or getting the script and the different versions, and then you're all the way to the end of the movie, just being there and oversight of the entire process. So that's what a producer does. Yeah.
Leader of, like, I call a lot of producers sometimes, they're like glorified PAs. It's not as an insult, is it? Because I put a high value on PAs. They're like your communication.
Yeah.
So I don't say it as an insult, but it is like you have to do everything, and if there's a hole missing in set, like the producer's the one that's getting the trash.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're the last
Carrying
one
it out.
there, or if I don't have enough pace to help me maybe carry my stuff into something,
Right.
I've had to do that.
Call a producer.
Yeah, I've had to do that.
Yeah.
I've had to be the person on a ladder cutting a tree branch down to get a trailer
Because no one else-
because you get a trailer through because no one else either can or would, or it's not their thing. So you're right. Either I have to delegate that position or I have to do it myself. Yeah. Or, are they better served going off and doing whatever else over there?
Right.
Yeah. And I can just do it. Yeah. It's not now maybe at the highest level, you're right. I'm just taking $100 bills and lighting cigars with the bill on fire.
Right.
You know what I mean? And doing all that. Not doing, but no, not on this. No, not on an indie level.
You're also taking the biggest liability. A lot of times producers,
Yeah.
you're taking the cut. Go ahead.
Yeah. And that's something lately. So I'm doing a movie. I think it's officially greenlit. I don't know if I can say the words yet. I have we have everything in place where it needs to be. And then after this, now that the holiday's over, I think in the first week of December, everything will click into escrow from the verbal and LOI commitments. So I told you about this, but it's really developed. I'm doing a movie called Sovereign. And
You sent me the mood.
did I say the pitch deck?
The pitch deck, yeah.
Yeah.
You did, because I'm really, really stoked about it.
Yeah.
The kind of, because I don't always work on movies that I would be a viewer of, because it's a job, right? So that's great, but this is one that I would be
Yeah.
I'm like the target audience.
Right.
It looks.
I'm
so
finally doing a
And the
movie that
actors
I
are-
like. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
dream,
yeah.
right?
Are
Yeah.
people who I've
Yeah.
always wanted to work with. It looks like it's going to be.
Thank you. And there's something to that. I finally kind of got what I was wanting, and then I was like, oh man, I got what I want. Be careful what you wish for. Yes, you do. You're like, oh my gosh. So it's called Sovereign, and it's about sovereign citizens, which those are the people. They're mainly there's a lot to them, and they're a demographic in the United States mainly, but they're all over the earth, I guess, in a way. But
Extremist.
yeah, they get pulled over. They're really notorious for getting pulled over, and they tell the cops, I wasn't driving, I was traveling. I don't have to give you my ID.
They use every little
Loophole, yeah.
I see.
They're anarchists, kind of. Yeah, it's a political belief. They're very anarchist,
Gotcha.
kind of libertarian. Yeah. And this was a true story from 2010, where a father and son lived that lifestyle. They lived in a van and they traveled around the country giving speeches on cheap hotel lobbies and to that type of people.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And
it's meant to be shot very raw.
yeah,
Not
that's right. Right.
Dramatic, but yeah.
And they got pulled over in 2010, and they just killed all the police. And then there was a manhunt, or they killed the police tragically, and there was a manhunt for them. And what I like about the movie is it's not so much just about the murder and then the manhunt that ensues, but it's about their lifestyle and how they lived, which is really intriguing.
And how they really feel like this is the right thing to be.
Yeah,
So this
that's
is
right.
a true story.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. And so I have Nick Offerman from Parks and Rec playing the dad.
Damn.
And then Dennis Quaid is the law enforcement hunting them down.
Awesome.
And then Jacob Tremblay was the young son. And then I have equally as high-level actresses to play in it, but I don't have them on long-form contract yet, but it's getting really close. I have really big actresses too.
Do you call those actors to say, hey, I got this story, or yeah, how does that work?
It can be any number of things first. You can either, depending on the relationships you have. So if you have a strong relationship with the talent, you go to them first and then swing around to the distribution. Or if you have strong relationships to the distribution, you go to the distribution first and then go to the talent. It can be any number of the different pieces first
Gotcha.
that you get, and then you create synergy. You start building it from there, depending on what you start with.
I wonder, because every time I hear a actor's interview or something like that, they're like, yeah, I love the script, and I get it on. Do they really read that much script? You know,
Their manager.
Yeah.
agents,
Yeah, which is I'm just telling you that it's kind of insider scoop. You try to avoid the agent as much as you can, because you're right. They'll be like, oh no, I don't want. They are a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And they would reply back, and this is on different movies, but they would reply back with, no, my client didn't like that. And then you would hear through personal connections later, they never even got it. And they're telling you my agent doesn't send half the stuff over to me.
And a lot of actors will do smaller projects, like Nick Offerman. I don't know if this is his case. I'm just assuming. Someone like himself that has Parks and Rec money and syndication. But now he's going to be playing not a comedian.
That's right.
Not a dry, funny guy. He is playing.
He's doing it because of the story.
Yeah. So he'll do something for $3 million, which is low budget for someone like Nick Offerman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll do it because it's getting to play a role that he would normally do. And a lot of the bigger names that I'll work with in Oklahoma that are on indies, they're doing it because the role is nothing like what they're known for.
Makes sense.
And so they come in, and they come into it fully passionate, like really into it.
That's awesome.
The script is good.
With him in that process.
It is. The script is good. The story is good. That's why he's doing it. He's not, I mean, we couldn't pay him what he's really worth.
Right.
Or any of those people.
Yeah.
You know, and the actresses we have coming up too, the same. Like they're all really reputable and big, and they're talented, and we could never afford them originally. But they like the project, and we have theatrical distribution with Briarcliff, and it'll be out in October, and we'll premiere it at Toronto.
That's awesome.
It's already, yeah. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I was wondering, like, a producer's standpoint, right? Because, like, whenever you're hiring crew or talent, right? Do you like people say, hey, my rate is this? Or like, hey, what's your budget? You know what I mean? Like, so for example, if you're trying to hire me as a camera DP or whatever, and then there's a two type of like a DP, right? Like say, hey, my rate is this. Or like say, and then I ask you, say, what's your budget? Ask you, right? Like two types of person, I would say. I was wondering, like, which one do you like as a producer?
Well, in this case, if it's a $3 million, it's a scale.
If it's a union project, oh no, this is not $3 million. That's another one.
Oh.
This is a little bit bigger than $3 million. This is a little bit bigger than $3 million.
Oh, it'd be a union, yeah.
Then you have union, you have scale, but to answer your question in that category, it's kind of both. I like trying to. I do like asking people, like, what is your rate? Maybe I can actually accommodate that right off the bat. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. And then I will say, well, this is our budget, honestly. And I like to show that with whatever agreement or whatever I've told them the situation is, they will see that's true throughout the whole project. Like, I'm not saying that and then somebody gets a Ferrari gift as a, you know,
I've seen that.
Yeah. They're like, oh man, we just can't do it. Blah, blah, blah. Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, so I don't.
Working out of the back.
Right.
I hate all of it.
Yeah. That's another producer thing. The crew talks too. You can't if you deny something for somebody, like, look, I can't do that, and then you give it to somebody else, they'll tell everybody else, and they're like, hey, where's and fair enough too.
Right.
If someone's like, oh, I'm having such a hard time, I got to drive from Norm and Adam to Guthrie. Can you give me mileage and all this and this? I'm like, sure. You're gonna have. It's like cats, right? It's like feeding cats. It's like feeding cats. You feed one cat at the back of my train station, right? You will have 30 more cats showing up there. Like, that is so true.
Oh my God. Come up from the other
But I said fair enough. I said fair enough because somebody else is like, look, I'm driving from Weatherford.
Yeah.
And same thing. Like, what's the difference? And if you need just a sadder story, I'll give you a sadder story. I'm taking care of my mom, or you know what? Like,
I hate being given a sadder story. What I want,
is
once you give it to the first person, go ahead and set the thing of anybody living.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And then you go to your budget and go, okay, we need to set up.
Yeah,
presence.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, you have to. They talk, and if you're going to do it for one, you have to do it for all. Yeah, and that's what I meant. I clearly said fair enough. Right?
You also call this cats.
Well, that's true. But again, fair enough. But again, the analogy is so true. If you feed one, you will have 20 others that will be there, and like the next day. That's how it works.
Yeah.
That was great.
I mean, you hire makeup artists too, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you feel the same way?
No.
No.
I have a rate. Set the rate. I tell them the rate, and then I get as much money as I can from the client or the scenario to give them to the artist.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I come from that world.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm not really trying to like get one on them by trying to gain the most. Like, I keep it really transparent.
Yeah. So the emperor here, when she I don't know if people, I don't think people she's said this in other podcasts. She has like an empire of workers, minions. What do we call them? I call them minions, but they're talented, and they would, but a lot of them would be good enough to be on a smaller, like the key on a smaller movie by themselves anyways.
Yeah.
You're
We're
not
all individual freelance artists.
right.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it will be where like, if you do get Toni, you're like, well, are we getting the queen pharaoh herself, or are we getting one of your sons? or are we getting one of your people? Because it makes a difference, you know?
Does it?
It does. It does.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. I'll say.
That.
Yeah, it looks more legit when you're there.
Oh, so I should actually charge more.
Yeah. You're like a name.
I mean, we charge
you're a name crew person.
Oh, so I should charge more.
No.
No.
Never mind. Did I say you were a name? I meant you're kind of something.
And I don't. It's the same rate.
Make them think
the same when they do.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So.
An emperor.
Yeah.
Be a good leader.
The empress. But that's cool though to have like a series of different. But that's the like dream, right? To have where you're managing and having a crew of people in a business, right?
Yeah, I guess so. It was really organic for me, and now I'm just hiring my friends. But the main reason I do it is so that I can go off and do projects and films, and then I can come back and kind of get back into rotation of commercials and bridal.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that people don't forget. So instead of turning it down and then them just kind of finding someone else and then locking into someone else, I'm keeping it within like my network of people that I can like vouch for. Because I'm really big on vouching for people. I don't vouch for anybody. So like, and I'm that way across like personal and professional. So if someone's like, hey, what do you know about this person? I'm like, I immediately, there's this thing in my head. It's like, okay, I've got to be like very honest about what. Because if I say like, oh, they're amazing, they're great, and then they end up being this, DP fired, I take that as a personal. I take it as like a personal embarrassment. If you're like, hey, I fired that DP you recommended because you tried to do back in my film, I'm going to be like,
on a comedy. On a comedy.
So I just make sure to have a team that I hope that I can vouch for.
We do 35 millimeter black and white. I'm like, man, this is not Citizen Kane.
I love it. So at what point are you, so you're coming in from this producer role. And at what point did this happen, before or after you owned the train depot?
After.
It was after. Talk to me about this train depot, because I remember when you got it, and I remember thinking, what you're doing?
Right.
Why about buying abandoned, vacant, 200-year-old buildings?
Right. My wife and I moved to Guthrie, which is the largest Victorian district in the U.S. Like single, meaning like there's like Washington D.C. has more buildings, but they're spread out among the modern.
Oh.
We have, it's like contiguous or something, like I can't remember the word, but yeah, it's all in one space. And we're both artistic people, so we moved there for the architecture and kind of fell in love with the people as well when you start getting around and meeting people. And we have a lot of buildings that needed care and upkeep, and we just said, let's just be the change we wanted to see. And so we started looking for a building, and somebody called and said, hey, we heard you're looking for one. The train depot is available. And we looked into it. It was a great deal, and we bought it. Kind of just like any other real estate piece. Yeah.
Nice.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. It's the oldest train station in Oklahoma.
Wow.
It was built in 1887 and then refurbished in 1903. So it was just like a little wooden front hut, like you see those little train depots, like a one-room little building. And then in 1903, they put the wings on and the brick and stuff like that. And so, yeah, and it was, it was the Old West, We had 3 homicides there, all in the back.
This is after you bought it?
This is last year? No, I'm joking. No. It had back in the West. I think the last one was 1904. It was like 1897, 1904, and then the third one.
When you buy the property, do they have to tell you about the?
No, I don't have to. I just looked into the history of it, okay. And we had 3 gunfights. They were in the southern part of the property where the trains would park overnight, so the goods would be in the train. And so they'd be trying to rob that. And then they would get into it with either a night watchman or the sheriff's department. And so that's where that's naturally where the battles, as you'd call them, would happen out there. Used to be capital punishment as well. So they'd hang people where my ballroom is now. It wasn't the ballroom at the time. It was just open grass next to the lobby in the middle. Yeah, next to it.
For towns of that era, the train depot was kind of a Grand Central Station. Like it was essentially a big place of sorts.
The railroad used to decide where towns went.
Right.
Let alone just the hub of thing. Yeah, they would just put it where the railroad would go. They'd be like, okay, we'll build a town there.
Yeah.
So it is like ground zero. But yeah, like.
And that was like the entertainment people back then.
It wasn't entertainment. It was a signal. So since the majority of people would come by train, they'd be like, this is where we can send the message.
So people are coming into town, seeing
people hung.
Saying,
yeah, don't mess around. That's what that was for.
Wow.
Yeah, it was strategic. Yeah.
Sounds like a movie.
Let's buy this place.
Yeah. We didn't even know that at the time, and and it's a really beautiful spot. Tony's been in there.
Yeah. And you have to tell us about the secret tunnel that you.
Yeah, I have a picture. I'm going to show you the.
My husband and I came and we had dinner with him and Abby. Oh my gosh!
Damn.
We're taking a photo. So this is for people watching.
This
can you send it to me later?
This to the building there?
Yeah.
That's where my lobby is now. And so this is where my ballroom is, where they're at.
Wow.
Ballroom, and they're using this sign as the
lynch? Yeah.
So this is actual like a real time like.
Yeah, and there's others that are fake. This one is not. You see the dog there? I never noticed the dog. I'm always looking at the guy.
And that guy getting hanged like it's super like calm.
He's looking right at the camera.
Super calm.
Well, his eyes aren't open.
Oh, this is right before they hung him though, right?
I think they already did.
It looks like everybody's like posing for like.
That's crazy because he's calm.
He's already dead.
Oh.
I think they've already done it.
Oh my.
Damn.
How would you get a dog to sit there that long? So. Anyways, so a lot of death, and because of that, I get ghost hunters like crazy as well. They pay pretty good money, and they come in and they run around all night and set up their cameras and traps or whatever. A little thing. Oh, they have their yeah. They have their
converted it to a wedding venue.
Yeah, we don't tell them that.
where you're dancing with.
Right. That's why they're more pound.
Good marketing, though.
Right. We'll tell everybody. Yeah.
They're not booked on Halloween.
Yeah. BuzzFeed did a top 50 haunted in the United States, and they had us at number 32 with Amityville Horror at 31, I think.
What?
Mm-hmm. The Amityville Horror House in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gettysburg's on there.
So it's that active? Do you feel like it's that active?
The only time I ever get weird feelings is when I'm there alone at night. And when
also could be your own.
Yeah, how much of this is just your imagination? When I go up the stairs, I always feel like there's somebody behind you at night. But again, is it just because it's quiet and you're hearing your own echo? Yeah. A guy drowned in the bathtub upstairs. One of the train conductors did before it was turned into a Harvey House dorms.
He was killed?
He was drowned. He drowned upstairs in the bathtub. I don't, that's where a lot of these groups get a lot of activities upstairs.
Oh, really?
In my,
which is where Abby's studio was going to be at one time.
Yes.
Because one of their other many jobs that Adam has had is a wedding videographer and wedding photographer.
Yeah, we did that before I got into movies. Yeah, my wife and I did. Yeah.
And then you did it after movies, because then that's why I ran into you after like years of not seeing him. We were both at like a wedding.
Oh, that's right, wedding show.
Yeah.
Oh, got you.
Yeah. Come around. And I'm like,
that was before I started getting into like really producing full time.
That's true.
Yeah, I hadn't done the Lifetime Hallmark and then kind of moved on from there. Like I hadn't done that yet. But she still does photography, and one of the rooms is one of her studios. Yeah,
That's cool.
And they all get the activity in that room. And they all get activity in the same. I have 2 basements, and one of them so it's funny that those groups all get the same reads in certain spots. Now maybe it's because that's where a certain heater is or something that's putting off. I don't. Maybe there's a reason for that. Yeah. But they all get the same reads in the same spots. So that's kind of interesting.
That I always hear that energies, so ghosts essentially will drain batteries, and so for her to have her studio in there, you would think it would drain her equipment.
Right, maybe we shouldn't do that. The ghosts would do that.
But obviously it's fine. And
yeah. They haven't messed with us.
And if she's shooting, does she see orbs in her photos afterwards?
No, she hasn't seen any. See north.
She's like, all these people come in and say, she's like, I'm just working.
So right. So my southwest room upstairs is where they say they always feel something, and then downstairs in the basement in the corner in the same spot they always feel it. Most groups come in and say they get the same feeling there.
There's like a loop right there.
Yeah, and a lot of them too bring in a medium. So like it's not just the instruments. It's like it's always a lady too for some reason. And
we're more sensitive.
Is that what in tune with the spirit? It's always a chick though. Always. And they go all out. Like she'll sit and lean on the wall and then pull a bag over her face, and then get the reading and stuff like that. Just like which reminded me of
a bag over.
What's the horror movie with Tiptoe Through the Tulips and stuff like that?
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
It was huge, like in 2010. They made like 3 of them since then. No, it was a $5 million. I think Cho or whatever his name is directed the first one for $5 million. It was massive. Made $200 million. And it's
more context. What's Tiptoeing Through the Tulips?
It's like they cross over into the different realm and then come back. It's a massive show. No.
I've seen it.
That song is like the most notorious thing through it too. Okay. Let's see. Tiny.
Hey Clay, look. Can you look at who's
Yeah, we need our.
It's a huge. Once I say it, you'll be like, oh.
Who's there?
Let's see. Insidious.
Oh, Insidious.
That song was like. Yeah. The song was big on it, but there's like a medium in that does that too. Like they pull like a thing over their face
as a way to.
I don't know what that's about. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the bag's about.
Yeah, but you watch it. Someone like yourself that is the ultimate shit talker is like this. Like, what's happening?
I did do one thing where I did take all the energy out of the room. They were in my bar room, and in the restaurant part.
Whole part.
It was like 2 a.m.
Yeah, there's a steak restaurant in this.
Yeah, I have a restaurant in the building as well.
Oh, nice.
And it was in the steakhouse portion at like 2 a.m, and everyone's quiet. And we got the monitors up, everything's reading.
So you're there while they're doing.
Not all the time. I just go sometimes. And as we're monitoring everything, there's like radar stuff everywhere. It looks like a movie set. There's cameras everywhere and all this kind of stuff. And my air kicks on. And the air duct is right over here, and somebody goes, and so it kind of moves the curtains, and somebody goes, I've got activity on the southwest wall. I've got activity, and it's still dead quiet after that. And I just go, well, the AC kicked on, and there's an air duct right above that, and everyone was like. You're not supposed to say that, Adam. You know what I mean? Like that was the.
You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to debunk it if it's not real.
I think it's like they're all in it, and you're not supposed to be an unbeliever. That's like.
Oh, is that the kind of code?
Yeah, right.
I would think you would appreciate the things that aren't actually activity.
I hate to say this, but I'm going to go here.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's like going to some of the really hard religious groups that everyone's just falling over, passing out, and if you were the one to walk up there and they put their hand on your head and you're just like, didn't feel nothing, like they would be like, oh, you gotta go. This is not. we all fall over here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Shoving like I'm gonna make you fall.
Right. Yeah. If you go to a Benny Hinn show and you don't like do what they do, they'd get you out of there quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And
I grew up watching Benny Hinn.
Yeah,
and now he does it with his jacket. I don't know
I've seen it. Yeah. He spins it around and like.
It's like what they call like revivals, and it's like evangelist Christian, like very, very strong in that evangelism. Anyway, this guy takes off his jacket, and people line up, and just by him touching you, you faint. You become overcome with like the Holy Spirit. But now I don't know if he's just older, or he's afraid of COVID. I don't know. But lately. Because I'll still.
Yeah.
Was one I have to watch it. He
swing
takes his coat and then he just kind of throws it at them.
Gotcha.
And they all, like 20 people, will faint back.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Because his coat is
Right.
Heaven.
Like, yeah.
I went to.
It's entertainment.
Sorry.
Like I said, I grew up watching this.
So I went to one at ORU because I was hired to film it, and they were doing that. Everyone's like laid out on the floors, like the whole arena was doing it. And as I'm trying to make my way to the center, I'm going in with the camera, and I put my hand on someone's shoulder to get through, and they start doing that, and then they turn and see it, and they're like, oh, it's the camera guy, and then they stop, and I'm like, but you thought just because my hand was on you it was, and then you saw it was the camera guy, it wasn't. So like you turned it on and you turned, sorry, I'm not in the microphone, you turned it on and you turned it off like that.
What a wet blanket.
Yeah, I know. but that's what it felt like when I was with those ghost hunters, when I was like, well, the air literally kicked on and started hitting you can see it. It's right there. And like you can hear it running and the air is hitting it. And they're just like,
you just leave?
They're not supposed to. We're all supposed to just go like, yeah, it is. Oh my God.
I 100% believe that there's entities and there's energy.
Yeah. I'm not denying it. Yeah.
That if you said there's an air unit kicked on, if I was the leading,
right.
Like, oh, thank you. Like,
oh, right.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Now
we can mark that off.
Move on from that.
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't believe in that stuff either. Like,
but you're also
But I'm also right. I'm not going to make it happen where it's not, but I'm willing to believe it. Yeah. In general, right? Yeah. You said something earlier. Yeah, we have 3 secret rooms there. There's one under the ballroom, one, and then one in the hallway in the back by the restaurant, and then there's one upstairs. You drop from the 2nd level kind of to you drop below into a room there, and then there's one you access through the stage in the ballroom.
Where's the one that you showed me?
Which one did I show you?
We were in a basement type thing, and it was a tunnel that went
that's just
the other side of like.
That's just the tunnel entrance that goes on. So if you go in the basement, we have a 10-foot tunnel arch that goes under the tracks, but it's been filled in with sand because it goes under the tracks, and so they didn't want it to cause problems. The train's going over it for years, so we'd have to have an engineer be there, of course, and we'd have to dig all that out if we wanted to open those up. But that's like a big to do.
Yeah, because then you'd have to probably re-stabilize them.
Yeah, and you're going under BNSF train lines and stuff like that. It's just,
But
it would
goes
be real.
to like was there an area on the other side of the train tracks that it came out? Like what was
we had it digitally scanned. I thought it was going to go across to the building across the street, but it doesn't. It goes underneath and it turns north. So it goes out west and then turns north. I think it goes to the jail.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but it's 10 feet underground, 10-foot tunnel.
It's pretty rad.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I would like to go. So.
Yeah.
Take this whole segment of Adam talking about this and just turn this into like a Halloween podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, we could have done that. We should have done that earlier. Next year. Next year we'll do it. Yeah, we have
because Guthrie has some really great history that I don't think we all know that it's old.
And then I believe it. Like whenever you say like years or whatever, like you knew that Japanese old song and that's 102 like there, right? I'm like, I'm like looking at a Google. Damn.
Oh yeah, I knew the flight number that was on and everything like that. That's
history.
Yeah, that's just because I'm a big 50s and 60s music lover, and I just after so long you just start looking into all their bios and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, so I just knew that he did.
Buff
Yeah. I mean, I was a historic commissioner in town.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Which leads us to the next.
Oh yeah. Right.
Adam's next career is he is now a city councilman, right?
Right.
So you go from a producer, lifetime producer, a wedding photographer, what you had before.
So it would go wedding videographer to commercial
producer, right?
Commercial producer.
That's when you experienced my questionnaires and my minions, as you like to say.
Minions. I don't know what to call it. If I say workers, it doesn't work. What should I call them?
There's
employees. Your team.
Stylists,
team. If I say teamster, that's a truck driver. So, stylist works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stylist. Yeah.
We'll go with stylist. That's much better.
So we do have to cut in like 5 minutes though. But sorry though.
We're done in 5 minutes?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh no, we didn't even get to do city council stuff.
Yeah, we can talk about it real quick though.
And then you can use it for another segment.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Because he's got great city council stories.
Damn. Ooh, sorry, go. I mean, yeah.
It's okay. I'm co-hosting that. We should be like double the interview time.
Yeah, we should have done it. Like, yeah, I've scheduled a client meeting like 11.
What?
Oh no.
Damn.
They can hang.
We got 8 minutes. So it's more interesting. It's much more interesting, the campaign part, than it was to actually be on council.
You're on council still now, right?
Yeah, I'll be on for 4 years.
Okay.
I've been on for 6 months. So I'm still kind of new.
Yeah.
Everyone on the council is old enough to be my father.
I think a lot of people don't know what like different positions within politics do. So we had lunch when he was in the middle of campaigning, and I was like blown away by what a city councilman is. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they have to campaign and the kinds of questions that people ask them, because the truth is none of us know. Like, we act like we get so invested in like the president.
Yeah.
That has really nothing to do.
I have no idea what you guys do.
Yeah. City council does. Like, we are controlling in the micro level, like how much you're paying in your water, how much you're paying, your taxes, like, locally, the speed limits, water pipes, your roads, how fast you have to take your trash can apparently up to your house, like your day, like your day-to-day stuff. That actually affects you. Yeah, from small to bigger things is done on city council. I actually had a lady call complaining about that her neighbor didn't pull their trash can up to the curb fast enough and wanted me to handle that.
Fast enough as in
like he waits till he gets home at work to pull it up, and she pulls hers up at like 10 o'clock. Yeah. So you get anywhere from those complaints to like actually legitimate complaints, but it's all across the board. And that's the difference between a small local government as opposed to like state or federal, is that you're really one-on-one with everybody on a micro level. Like when I'm campaigning, I would go and talk to people for 20, 30 minutes at their door. You can't do that on a state level or a federal level. It's advertising and massive rallies and campaigns, whereas on a local level, you're just going door to door slowly. And so you get this real intricate, relationship during a campaign that you don't get, like real personal, and
they're probably also changing your minds within. I mean, you're deciding what kind of councilman you would be based off of the 50 people.
Yes, not in like...
You're getting a read on...
Yeah, not in philosophy or my own beliefs like that. Right. But yes, like you start seeing like, oh, this is what everybody's really concerned about. Like they care more about roads than they do this.
Right.
So you need to, yes, you're exactly right on that. Something I learned too is that you're, with a lot of people, sadly, you're the only person that's offering any kind of help whatsoever in their lives, period. By simply saying, like, is there anything you'd like to see different in town? You're the only person in their life that's offering any kind of help at all. And so they kind of, in a desperation and in plea, they're like, well, I haven't seen my children. Or I'm having trouble with my marriage, and I'm having that. Like, you're the only person offering any kind of hand at all, which clearly I mean like roads and whatever parks and stuff like that. But since you're the only one in their life at all
you kind of need to
offering any help, they're like, I don't see my children. Can you do anything about that? My marriage is in shambles. Can you do anything? I'm like,
honestly, it's really hard. That's like,
it's in desperation.
Wow.
And so
you probably have to decide, I'm sure in your brain, of like efficiency of, okay, I need to move on to, or to this person probably has to
I would talk with Summer. We're talking with one guy for like an hour till the sun went down. And I was like, all right. And he would just go on and on about his stuff in like Colorado. He wouldn't even talk to me about town issues. And at the end, he's like, well, I'm not even registered, but blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, man, okay. And then left. But a big shocker to me was the desperation and the sad plea of people.
If you're watching on YouTube,
subscribe,
like and comment, because that will help me and help everybody to listen to, spread the world to like listen to, like somebody needs to hear this message.
Yeah,
so I appreciate that.
What he said.
And if you're watching if you're listening on the iTunes or Spotify, give us 5-star reviews.
5-star reviews.
And if there's any seniors that are watching this on Facebook, also like. You have a Facebook page, or is that too old?
Is that too old? So I love that you just said that, because every morning when I'm getting ready, I watch Facebook and the video. I hit the video icon. I watch videos on Facebook every day.
So do I.
So we're seniors. Is that what you're saying?
We are not 18.
Yeah. It's because they're long running. They go to YouTube.
Go to YouTube.
I'll watch videos on YouTube.
But
Wow.
Thanks. Well, see you guys
Yay.
next week.
Right.
Bye.